Hello, my little songbirds, and welcome to this European Highlander tournament on this channel, Bards of Paradise. The tournament was held on the 6th of March 2026, and here we have Christian on the left playing Esper midrange and Jonathan on the right playing Dimir Reanimator. Let's get their little duet started. Here in southwest Germany, we have a little community very passionate about the format European Highlander. And we can see our players shuffling up here. And as we are resolving mulligans here and cutting the decks, you will find the deck lists in the description. You'll notice that the players are speaking in German, of course, since this is a German tournament. But I will provide my commentary in English.
Ich würde es geben.
Ich auch.
Momentan, ja?
Ja.
Wonder.
Ja.
Jonathan starting with a ponder, sculpting his hand. I think I can see a the days. Not 100% sure. I hope you can see the life total counter well. We're still iterating on the whole process,
Gesehen, oder?
so bear that in mind. Ponder resolved finally.
Und dann hast du.
Christian, one of our experts in playing alternate art cards. So I hope I can identify everything that's going on here.
Immer so ein Frosch.
Psychic Frog enters the fray for Jonathan. Something you also see in, or you used to see in Legacy Reanimator, right? Little guy give you a different angle by also being super strong with your main plan here. Christian thinking about what he's doing about the frog.
Ich glaube, ich mache mal Force.
All right.
Nee, das ist
Frog
nicht, ne?
hits a force.
Normal gecountet.
Very strong response. Turn passes over to Christian. Finds an underground C, I think.
Untap,
Interesting version.
vor Draw würde ich ihn abspielen wollen.
Opt during upkeep.
Dann Draw für.
It's a good way to get rid of one of the cards that you don't like about your ponder, right? While keeping the other two.
So ein
Imperial Seal gets played.
Muss mal versuchen mit einem
Ooh, but gets completely obliterated by Shadow of Doubt, not even countered. Jonathan still loses the life, and Christian even draws a card. Shadow of Doubt, obviously a very strong choice in control-ish decks against like 100 card singleton decks that try to assemble a certain combination of cards like Reanimator. You're going to have a lot of tutors in your deck.
Du bist.
So Christian playing draw go here. consider at his end of turn.
Jo, zieh ich mal.
Okay.
Dann draw for turn.
Are you going to see some reanimation action here?
Für
No,
Doppelblau.
more
gegen die
sculpting
spielen.
the hand with, I think
Ziehst zwei
that's the
umwerfen.
card from Love and Eclipse to Wistfulness.
Dann gesackt.
Ja, okay.
I think if you play it for blue, you draw 2 cards and discard 1. Before it hits the graveyard through Evoke.
Okay.
Was hast du hier? Pendul und Godless Shrine.
Also die machen beide schwarz und blau und das macht schwarz und weiß.
Dann würde ich mal den.
Alright, that's a Wasteland.
Den Kollegen.
Ich würde mal in Response ein Brain Search versuchen zu spielen.
Being responded by a Brain Surge.
3, 4.
Draw 4. Put 2 from your hand back on your library.
Okay, und das soll weg, ja? Okay. Jo.
Achso.
Also ein Alganio als.
I think that's Saiganjo from the Neon Dynasty Kamigawa. Produces white mana when played this way.
Würde ich gerne mal so eine Mystical Tutor spielen.
And again, in Jonathan's upkeep, he puts Mystical Tutor on the stack.
Ich würde mal probieren, so ein Opposition Agent zu spielen.
Ooh, okay. And Christian has the perfect response, which is Opposition Agent. Now he controls Jonathan during his searching, which means he can also see the cards in hand, and he can just search for any instant or sorcery and exile it, and he's able to play it as long as it stays exiled.
Instant oder Sorcery?
Ja.
Und was darf ich spielen, solange sie.
So now the question is, what kind of spells does Jonathan have in his deck that Christian might want to cast? Probably not necessarily a Reanimator spell. I mean, considering that Jonathan doesn't even have a very good target in his graveyard, I would assume not even Reanimate makes sense unless Christian just wants to put a Psychic Frog into play, which might make sense. There's a judge call. And I think the question is whether cards can be played with alternate casting costs when they are exiled with Opposition Agent. I think the answer is yes.
Auf alternative Kosten. Okay. Dann hat sich meine Entscheidung gerade geändert. Dann nehme ich doch die France. Ich hätte sie eben hier gesehen.
Soll ich dir suchen helfen, oder?
Ja, die einfach vor so will.
Okay, so I think Christian looks at Jonathan's hand and thinks there's probably something I need to counter here, and I'm tapped out, so I will just take your force of will and will negate anything you couldn't throw at me even during this turn. Okay, so Jonathan is joking that sadly opposition agent only lets you control your opponent during searching, not during shuffling. So he's still obliged to shuffle his own deck.
Im Friedhof hast du dieses große, was. Aber du kriegst die Effekte nicht, ne? Nur wenn du die Farben
Ja,
bezahlst.
genau.
Okay. Passt.
Dann ziehe ich für den Zug.
Ja.
All right, so this was Jonathan's upkeep. Let's continue with the turn.
Ich würde den gerne minus 2
I think
vergeben.
his hand is Dance of the Dead
Dann spiele ich die Faust für ein Leben und.
and something else. This is a collective brutality trying to kill the opposition agent. And the Force of Will is immediately put into action.
Ja.
All right. Let's start with dealing some damage.
Dann suche ich mal eine Bibliothek, eine Inselkarte.
All right. This is Lauren revealed, being cycled for Tundra. And this is, although the community is very competitive about this format, it's also very friendly. That's why you see people just keeping their revealed cards open.
Wie groß ist dieses Blau-Grüne?
6,5.
Ich spiele noch eine True Name.
Oh, that's a true name nemesis. Also, target, of course, being Jonathan. Now the clock's ticking. Jonathan being on 15 and taking 6 a turn. That just means he has 3 turns, even if at some point he gets to remove the opposition agent. The true name nemesis will beat him further. I think he drew Tainted Thingamajig, blue and a black, and you draw 2 cards, and you discard a card if you have like 3 or less different mana costs in your graveyard, something like this. So if you have 4 different mana costs in your graveyard, you get to keep both cards.
Ich würde mal das hier spielen.
Let's see.
Zieh 2 Karten, wirf dann eine ab. Es sei denn, du hast in deinem Friedhof 5 unterschiedliche Mana-Kosten. Ich habe nur 4, wenn ich es richtig sehe.
Echt jetzt?
1,
Okay,
2,
so
gar nicht
5. So if you have 5 different mana costs in your graveyard, you get to keep both cards. He has 4, so he's going to discard a card.
Ich werfe mal so einen Lord of Change ab. Dann hast du.
I think that's a fatty finally hitting the graveyard. Some reanimated target, but Jonathan is stuck on 1 black, so no Dance of the Dead action here. That seems to be a demonic tutor for Christian here. That might just seal the deal. I mean, if he can hold Jonathan off for another turn, not reanimating anything relevant, goes to 9 this turn. Then if Christian can stop him from doing anything in the next in his next turn, he'll go to comfortable 3. And then True Nemesis should be able to finish him. Not 100% sure what was picked here. I think I saw Dovin's video flashing a couple of times. That might be it.
Spiel noch ein Land und sag go.
Jonathan now considering his options. Cannot even play like a discard spell and then follow it up with a reanimator spell because he doesn't have 2 black.
Shadow Course?
Yep.
Was macht er?
Shadow Course.
Also ich habe angegriffen.
Ja.
Filtering, sculpting his hand. Finds another black source.
Ja, das dir.
Okay, but
Bitte?
Das dir.
does not want to show his hand anymore. Packs it in. That's 1 for Christian, 1 for the midrange deck, controlling the reanimator deck. Yes, so during shuffling, the players agreed that the opposition agent was probably a bit too much, and the inherent 3 for 1 kind of took all the wind out of Jonathan's sails. But now, new chance for Jonathan to put something really big into play and start beating. Going first, I assume.
Ich würde es mal geben.
Ich auch.
All right, what do these guys have?
Honda.
Ja.
It seems like a very similar start to last game for Jonathan, starting with the blue land and then pondering. Might be that he can glimpse an opt in his hand. Of course, these ponders and preordains to a certain extent are pretty skill testing. He's happy with it. No shuffle, draw. Passes it over to Christian, who starts with a Doom Lake. Gloom Lake Birch.
Also du.
A little bit of draw go here.
Land und go.
Dann will ich ihn fetchen.
Okay.
Fetch resolves, no stifle, no shadow of doubt. And of course goes for the tried and true combination of fetch land into survey land.
Brainstorm?
Machst du den Surveil?
Nee,
All right, with Surveil on the stack, Jonathan brainstorms. Probably wants to put one of the cards in his hand into the graveyard.
Oh,
That's smart for a reanimated deck.
wann ist der richtige Augenblick? Nee, okay.
Christian says it's fine.
Ach so.
Zwei.
Ja.
Atraxa.
Ah, ja.
So Atraxa goes into the bin. Very good reanimation target. All of this in Christian's end step. Christian probably thinking you can put anything into your graveyard as long as you don't reanimate it. I'm fine.
Inquisition.
That's an Inquisition. Maybe taking some counter magic from Christian. I think at that point, Jonathan should not have played his land yet. Maybe he's holding a counter spell and that's why, but basically the land told Christian that Jonathan most likely cannot play a reanimation spell.
Ein
Of course, there could also be something like
Reprieve.
Mox still lurking.
Zwischenkarte.
And that's a reprieve.
Dann
Try the Inquisition another time, friend.
Mach ich mir Wasteland.
And another Wasteland. Taking care
Oh,
of the only black source for Jonathan.
Consider.
ja.
Going for Consider. Probably looking to replace that. Black source.
Mhm.
Lorian's revealed.
All right, finds a Psychic Frog and has a Lorien revealed. Now go digging for a black source. Christian either not having something to stop the search or wants to keep up a counterspell for a likely reanimation happening next turn. Wow, that's... I think Jonathan just also drew a Wasteland. And given that Christian has not been drawing or not been playing lands, might even be better than playing the black source. Could, of course, first... Yeah, that's what he's going for. So he's going to play the black source first. Go for the discard spell so you can see what's up in Christian's hand. And then he also knows which land to waste. I mean, most likely you go for the blue-black land, but you never know.
Down in the Loch.
Christian considering
Das countert einfach, ne?
countering here. Okay, Drown in the Loch,
Da andersrum.
preventing that Jonathan will see his hand, and most likely play something like this anyway. There's a third mana source for Christian, but still only one blue. Who is that? I think Jonathan just also drew a grief.
Mal die.
If he can make
Scrubland.
Christian's life miserable here.
Das macht schwarz und weiß und das macht blau und schwarz.
Dann mache ich das weiß und. Oh, dann nehme ich das komplett blau weg, ich muss überlegen. Ja, ich nehme
Yeah,
jetzt.
so Jonathan considering which land to take. He was thinking maybe the scrubland was a tundra. It's not.
Schwarzen noch was. In dem schwarzen und dem weißen spiele ich noch ein.
And before Jonathan changes his face, I think Christian's going to play something.
Ein Pakt.
So Jonathan
Ein Pakt.
considers what to do with the Tainted Pact. and goes for
Spiel mal Force of Will.
Force of Will.
Was hast du gepitcht?
Ein Opt.
Ein Opt. Ja, ist gecountet.
Dann spielt man noch einen Frosch. Den zweiten Main.
Follows it up with a Psychic Frog. This is a very strong turn of events here for Jonathan. Getting rid of the blue source from his opponent, countering his Tainted Pact, and then getting such a powerful creature out there. Might be close to reanimating something strong. There's still an Atraxa in the bin from turn 2, I think. Christian shifting a little bit in his chair. Probably not happy about what's happening here. Looks like he maybe found a demonic tutor. Let's see if it's a classic demonic tutor for an island. Notably cannot snuff out a Psychic Frog. I don't know if Christian's even playing snuff out, but...
Passt.
So, dann Land.
So probably the tutor went for Darkslick Shores. Oh, Jonathan, I think, drew
Dann würde ich ganz gerne mal angreifen.
Okay,
Life, Death.
kein Block.
Damage.
1.
Yep. Dann 10.
There's the Daze. Now also safe from a 1-mana counter spell.
Ich würde mal gerne so ein Death spielen wollen. Und zwar auf...
I don't know what the other target in his graveyard is. Seems to be similarly
auf die Atraxa.
enticing.
Ich spiel's mal mit einem Space Snare. Du spielst ja nur das, also nur 2, ne?
Ich glaube schon,
Spell Snare trying to counter the death. Daze to the rescue.
Ja.
Okay.
Dann für die 7.
Death similar to reanimate costs you life in the amount of mana value that the creature has.
5, 6.
And now Atraxa lets you look at the top 10 cards of your library and pick one of each card type from among them.
Dann darf ich nehmen...
A little bit of glare here. I'm not sure what we're seeing here. That's a dig through time.
Land.
Dig through time. Polluted Delta, it
Instant.
seems. No?
Land.
Right, the instant was exchanged. I think that's a mystical tutor.
Creature.
Ja. Der Rest kommt.
As a creature.
Ja.
All right. I mean, that puts Jonathan so much ahead. He's ahead on board, and he has so much more resources than Christian.
Land.
Let's see.
Foxys. Into Dust, Bowmaster, The Exiled. Was habe ich gemacht?
Also Thoughtseize, so even something like Toxic
dann
Deluge
nehme ich
is
doch
not...
mal Das Cling to Dust hast du genug, aber fehlt ein Mana, ne?
Okay,
Für-
Cling to
Ja,
Dusk
braucht 4 Mana und
is
5 andere Karten im Friedhof.
Cling to Dust is the choice here.
Ja, ich glaube, das
There's not enough mana to play it.
sind okay.
Although, I mean, now it's also really late for Christian to play that. I think,
Ja,
yeah,
dann das.
Toxic Delusion, hoping no counterspell, is something that might maneuver him out of this misery, but on the other hand, there's also a mystical tutor
Nimmst du?
waiting.
Ich bin da.
Mhm.
For Draw. Mystical Tutor.
Mhm.
I think Jonathan could at this point just search for a counterspell and
Hast du eine Kreatur in deinem Grave?
Nee.
keep the status quo.
Dann nehme ich mal ein Axiom.
His alternative is, of course, making an even bigger board, which it seems he's going for because that is an Axiom, I think.
Mhm.
Dann ziehe ich das.
Ja.
Maybe I can find out what creature it is that he has in the graveyard.
Dann Combat.
Mhm.
8.
Ja. Okay, ich nehme dann 8 Schaden.
Mhm.
Also du holst
Nee.
noch was in den Reihen.
All right, life totals change. Christian takes it all. Could have played the Orcish Bowmasters, pinged, blocked, and ping again when Jonathan drew his second card.
Ich will noch ein Axiom Cast wollen.
Ja. Okay.
So, what is this? Some elder thing? Is this Volgaboth? Yeah, I think it's Volgaboth.
Okay. Bin tot.
Yeah, I think Christian has seen enough.
Das Wasteland kam richtig gut.
Yeah, Toxic Deluge, I think if he plays it, was an out for this board
Die waren da, aber das mag
and
ich
not much else. And then also he would go very, very low after the hit with the Traxa.
Graveyard immer noch nicht so schlecht.
Christian's still going a little bit over the events of the last game. Since his deck's called Esper Midrange as opposed to Esper Control or something like this, I assume that that going first will also give him a little bit of a tempo advantage. Maybe getting out a strong 2 or 3 mana creature.
Jo, ich halte meine Hand.
Ja, ich gebe aber.
All right, let's see. Will we see a
Ich fetch dann auf
land into Ponder again? Christian happy with his hand. And has a really strong start with fetch for Underground Sea, I guess, and into a Deathrite Shaman. But does he also have the green mana to really screw up Jonathan's game plan of reanimating big hitters?
Ich
Yeah,
fetch auch schon mal.
Okay.
players resetting life totals, which had not happened yet. Surveilling for the reanimator player here. Let's see what the surveil brings.
Richtig.
Mhm.
Achso.
Wasteland, that goes to the bin. Not happy with that. I think, yeah, Wasteland against a Dash Right Shaman is not the greatest play. Puts you very behind on tempo.
Eine Caracas.
I made in a much later round in this tournament the mistake of playing a Sinkhole against a Deathrite Shaman, costing me a lot of tempo.
Ein Duress.
Duress.
Non-creature, non-land.
Mhm.
Oh, Christian having a very threat heavy hand this time around. The choice is between Sink into Stupor and Lorien Revealed. Both kind of
Yep.
spells that double as lands. Although I assume Sink into Stupor is cast a
Lorien.
little bit more often than Lorien Revealed.
Achso.
Dann würde ich mal so ein Mastermind.
Very Mastermind.
Dann gehe ich mal zu.
World Championship card enters the fray. And that, I'm not 100% sure,
Das ist getappt.
but I think that's a Celestial Colonnade.
Genau. Ja, dann bist du.
I will just assume it is for now.
Was sagt das nochmal?
Wenn ein Opponent seine zweite Karte in einem Zug zieht, ziehe ich auch eine. Und für 4 ziehen alle Spieler eine Karte.
Jonathan, a little bit in the tank here. I was checking the exact rules text from Fairy Mastermind. And the classic tank, 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 go.
End of turn würde ich. Du hast nur das Duress, oder?
Ja, und 2 Länder.
Ja, dann würde ich das Duress nehmen.
The rest
Lass uns
goes.
2 Leben verlieren.
Ja.
Dann gehe ich mal zu.
Jonathan takes 2.
Angriff mit Gegner. Oh Gott.
Ich würde gern 2 Karten ziehen und 2 abwerfen.
Okay. So.
Oh, warte. Da kann ich noch zurückmachen?
Willst du doch nicht wählen?
Ich will jetzt X gleich 1 machen, wenn es okay ist.
So Jonathan's playing a commander card here where you pay X in the blue and you draw X cards and discard X cards, and then you make
X gleich 1.
a 1/1 flyer for each card type
Ziehst du eine
that
Karte
has
in
been
der
discarded.
Für jeden Kartentyp kriegst du einen 1-1er oder so.
Genau, und 1 also Flying Spirit.
Ja. Passiert, ja.
Wie so ein
Very premium to discard an Archon of Cruelty to this.
Überleg, was ich mit dem Spirit mache.
Okay.
So there's in theory there's a 1/1 flyer in play now on the battlefield. I think we're still before blocks because Christian is considering what to do with the 1/1, but they are not. They didn't get a token out because I think
Also du kriegst den Token.
Genau, wir können den auch mal hinlegen.
because the intention is to block and then it would die immediately. I guess they're getting the token anyway now.
Ich leg schon mal dann einen Elementalen, damit auch unsere Viewer sehen, dass da eine Kreatur theoretisch liegt.
That's not the perfect token for this, but it's supposed to be a 1/1 flying spirit, I think. Let's see what happens.
Ich exile ein Land aus deinem Friedhof. Für
Wasteland oder Fetchland?
Wasteland, glaube ich lieber, ja.
Oh, Christian wants to keep the pressure up, using a Path to Exile for the 1/1 flyer. That is...
Ja, okay.
I can respect that.
Dann darf ich meine Bibliothek so richtig.
Ja, genau.
But of course, that's a lot of resources for Jonathan, getting another basic land.
Nach einem Basic Land.
Getappt und Spiel.
Karten im Friedhof?
Ich habe 3 Karten im Friedhof. Du auch jetzt?
Ja.
Okay.
Da bin ich. Ich würde mal versuchen, so ein Animated zu spielen.
Alright, that's an animated dead. Targeting the Archon of Cruelty, I saw. The infamous enchant creature in Graveyard Aura.
Okay. Also ich muss jetzt eine Kreatur opfern, 3 Leben verlieren.
Und ich krieg und wirf eine Karte ab.
Archon saying, Lightning helix you, you sacrifice a creature, you discard a card, I draw a card.
Target opponent sacrifice a creature or planeswalker, discards a card and loses 3 life, you draw a card and gain.
Ah, okay. Ich denke, dass ich dann. Ich denke, das schon. Die Karte, das Karte, ja. Dann triggert der. Sich auch
Ja.
eine Karte.
Very Mastermind triggers from the Archon of Cruelty.
5 sind wie viele brauchst du für das Auge?
6.
The Opposition Agent, which was a deciding card in the first game, goes into the bin. Archon of Cruelty being bounced back to its owner's hand.
Das kommt auf meine Hand, ne?
Die Kreatur auf die Hand, genau, ja. Genau.
Okay.
Da nicht?
Ja.
Yeah, I think it all depends a little bit on whether Jonathan has another way to put the Archon into the graveyard and then into play. Because otherwise, there's good pressure coming from Christian.
Ja.
6.
Ja.
He could play the Oculus now, giving him a 5/5 and a 2/2 in his opponent's upkeep. Jonathan is still locked out of efficiently drawing cards because he always gives his opponent the opportunity to also draw cards. Another Gloomlake or a Gloomlake Verge, possibly to protect from a daze when the Oculus hits now. Caracas usually a very strong card against the reanimator decks, but of course Archon being the prime reanimated target that is not legendary. Yep. So the Oculus hits the battlefield, and in the upkeep, Christian manifests Dread, puts Consider into his graveyard.
Ich würde mal fetchen wollen.
Ja.
Yeah, Jonathan carefully looking for the right land, which I assume is
Oh, das weiß-blaue auch drin.
Meticulous Archive.
Sehr wichtig, ne?
Gucken wir mal, was das da jetzt.
Das lege ich weg.
Okay.
Dann würde ich das Auge gerne pushen. Weil ich gefetcht habe.
So there's a
In
bounce land
deiner
into the
Aktion.
graveyard.
Jetzt sind wir. Weil ich hab Manifest Trade gemacht und dann hast
Ich
du
habe
das
auch
gemacht.
schon gezogen. Und dann
Ja.
habe ich gefetcht.
Yeah, he gets
Das ist
pushed,
meiner Main.
Gut.
but leaves behind a 2/2. All right, and Christian is still in this game. Now untapping with the 2/1 flyer and the 2/2.
4.
Würde ich gerne ein
Okay,
Caster reinflashen.
but is met by a Snapcaster.
Oh. Auf was?
Auf dieses hier.
Ja.
Dann würde ich das gerne Flash schicken. X gleich 1.
X ist gleich 1.
And
Also ich ziehe eine Karte.
the draw discard spell with X equals 1 again.
Ja, ab und dann.
That would create perfect blockers for Christian's board.
Also das liegt auf dem Stack.
Das sieht aus. Ja. Du ziehst eine Karte und wirfst eine ab, wie
Genau.
eben quasi.
Ja.
This would put the Archon back into its owner's graveyard.
Ja. Eine Karte ziehen, ja.
Alright, this must make Jonathan very happy.
Kriege ich einen Spirit?
Ja,
Und
bevor Blocks, werde ich das schon mal kurz überlegen.
leg mal wieder dieses Elemental hin.
Alright, so the spirit enters the battlefield.
Bowmaster spielen und den Elemental abschieben.
Ah, Orcish Bowmaster.
Okay.
Achso, ja. Dann kriege ich noch eine Ork-Armee.
Ja.
Und jetzt kann geblockt werden.
Dann bock ich.
Okay.
Very good Bowmasters. Keep the
Dann kriegst du 2 Schaden.
2/1 flyer around.
Und dann bist du.
Eine Handkarte richtig.
Ja, eine.
Ich spiele mal ein Unmarked Grave.
Ja.
So on my grave from Jonathan, he may now tutor a non-legendary card into his graveyard. I think he has the prime target for that already in the graveyard, which is Arcane of Cruelty. But let's see what he's doing.
Ich glaube, ich nehme das da. From the Catacombs. For non-legendary card.
For a non-legendary card. Ah, ja, alles
Ja,
klar.
ich glaube, es war
Ja,
blöd.
passt.
So from the Catacombs, I think being the escape reanimation spell.
Okay.
Dann Collective Brutality. Und ich escalate einmal.
Was sind die Modi?
-2, -2 und ich würde gerne eine Hand sehen.
Escalated
Ja, dann persiste ich mal.
collective brutality.
Mhm.
Alright, and persist on the Archon, which happens. That means Lightning Helix again.
5-5er. Da musst du eine Karte abwerfen.
Sack your Orc Army, discard, and draw for Jonathan,
Dann hast du.
which of course creates a new Orc Army.
Ja, danke dir.
Dann 12 Pistolen Schaden. Und ich habe wieder die.
Extra turns has been called, so this is the first extra turn being
Wenn er
Christians.
angreift, macht dasselbe, oder was?
Ja.
Dann zieh ich mal. Ja, okay. Go.
Second extra turn.
Extra Turn.
Ja.
Combat.
Mhm.
Arkin swinging in.
Du musst eine Karte werfen.
Mhm. Counterspell.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Du musst Kreatur opfern.
Ja.
Ich ziehe eine Karte.
Dann kriegst du wieder einen Schaden und das hier. Und ich blocke nicht. Also 5. Oder? 5 macht er.
Ja, weil der -1/-1 Counter, die sollten wir vielleicht auch irgendwie darstellen.
Passt schon.
Oh yeah, the Arkin not hitting for 6 here because he was brought back with Persist, which puts a -1/-1 counter on it.
Irgendwo rumfliegen, stimmt. Ja. So.
Dann, dann hast du.
Third extra turn. Probably Christian trying to see if he can bring this to a draw. He doesn't have removal here. It looks like it's going to be in Jonathan's favor.
Nix mehr. Ja, nee. Bin tot.
Ja.
Hatte eine Kreatur, die 5.
All right, and that seems like a concession from Christian.
Und noch diesen Reanimator-Spell,
Den ich, ja, das war ein bisschen missplayed von mir. Ich hatte überlegt, ich hatte das erst gespielt, weil ich überlegt, mir den Dino zu holen, dass er einfach das Board cleart.
All right, so that concludes the first round of our tournament. On to the next.
Der ist nicht